All right, yeah. I want to welcome everybody again to Native Media Network. And, today, I have a special friend of mine, one of my brothers. I went to school with many years. We go back to 1950, basically, the era of the Hayward, LCO, the Foodery, and the world of power. You know, we talk about that magic era. You know, and good to see him here. We went to school together at the Art Institute back in the heyday. IIA in the 1960s, early 70s, and we want to welcome Adrian Pushetonequa, kind of all of the above, former chairman, artist, councilman, director, you name it. Hey, we want to welcome you. How do you like your day so far?
Well, I'm on vacation. I'm kind of taking a break from work. I'm a language teacher back home, but took a break and school's about started. And that's one of the reasons I kind of make vacation. I'm here, worry about school. Certainly I always come here to see old friends. But friends I went to school with. And I started in 68 group. First we saw this guy, or maybe saw him back in Hayward, Wisconsin. He used to do these bird calls. Yeah. Dog fight in the Indian village where they imitate these animals. And so once I got over here, I kind of saw him, like, hey, that's that guy. And from then on, having a good time here now.
Maybe you can tell them a little bit about the Meskwaki people, the Meskwaki Sac and Fox Nation, your band.
Okay, the government called us the Sac and Fox in Mississippi and Iowa. There's 3 groups of Sac and Foxes. We're the ones that lived in Iowa, but we call it Meskwakis, people of the Red Earth. Our origin came from Quebec. And for some reason, the migration began and started heading west through Hartford, Connecticut area, down to Ohio, up to Detroit, up around Michigan, across the river there, and it ended up in Wisconsin. And during those times, those were the French and Indian Wars. We were fierce enemies with the French. We didn't like who they were from the beginning of this. They eventually set out to get a decree to destroy us, annihilate our tribe. That was back in 1730. They eventually dispersed from Wisconsin. They dispersed into 4 groups. One of the groups that went down in Illinois, the tribe got surrounded there. They escaped. Some were killed, some were taken prisoner. We eventually ended up in Iowa. So that's our group.
You know, thinking back to that era, the treaty making era, the 1700s, 1800s. You think about the relationship between the Sac and Fox, Meskwaki, the Potawatomi, the Wet'suwet'en people. It was an era that I think a lot of people kind of missed, in as much as the history of our people. Like I say, think about the friendship and relationship. We're all related language-wise in part. When he was talking about their origins and everything, I travel as a Paula man, and I always tend to say that you can trace one's origin by language. I have a lot of friends and families up in Canada, and listening to them speak, especially among the Cree, the different variations of the Cree, the Plains, the OJ Cree, and what have you, and go to find that the Cree in Canada are related and speak almost identical to the Meskwaki. So there, when he was talking about language preservation and what they're doing, we always say, well, traced by origin, by language. And again, it was kind of a nice way, and we look to some of the generations of today and trying to preserve, because that is an emphasis in trying to preserve our languages, try to bring that back. And gradually, yes, times have changed, especially among my people. And but anyway, I kind of wanted to say, maybe you can put a little pitch on language preservation.
For our people, we're still, I guess we could say we're still lucky for our community. At one count, they had about 250 speakers. So it's probably dwindled down. And we do have in the school system, they started emergence language emergence for the pre-K and the kindergarten. That's sort of usual. And I've been one of the teachers, language teachers, I've been teaching the 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Got another teacher teaching 9th grades. So finding out and there's no method that's there for me. When I was asked, because I went through a little process where I started as a TA. Then they said, we need somebody to teach history. So you have anything? A lot of history came from one of our students that went to school that had Indian studies as well as the French journals. They made a lot of recorded history in their battles with our tribe. So that was helpful for me. In time, again, they wanted to, even though we had a language, they needed a language teacher because at the same time our school was growing. We had elementary, middle school, and then our high school got done, finished, and so we had all high school and we had language classes. So again, they were asking, language teacher, can you do it? Well, do you have anything for me to use? And I said, I'll get something to use. Okay, that's it. The language was part of the working there. I had to develop things to use. What am I going to do? What am I going to teach the students who don't know any language? The parents didn't know language, didn't speak. That's part of the difficulties. So I had to kind of use what I call practical Meskwaki, using pronouns and verbs. And even then, that's difficult for them because they had to memorize a lot of these verbs that we use, verbs in verb-based language that we have. So it's a lot of tedious. It'll take forever. Hopefully, somebody picks up on it. We do have some students who, when they study, they learn more.
You know, I have to compliment, I guess, your program because compared to many of the other reserves or reservations around the country, and when I come to Tama, you know, I see a vast majority of the youth, the younger generation, well, our generation, especially still maintaining and retaining their language. And so compared to many of the other reservations, I guess I must say that your language program pays dividends because a lot of people do speak Meskwaki in their settlement. Incidentally, Meskwaki Reserve, you know, their settlement is probably about 5 miles in the middle of Tama, middle of Iowa. But again, I say that it's a compliment I want to say to their people and everything. I guess in closing, I kind of want to say, you know, because we went to the Art Institute back in the heyday. You know, what do you remember? What did the Institute leave for you in as much as your goals and what you've achieved in life, your travels, and what you're doing today?
Well, my life has kind of jumped from one thing to another. I wasn't going to come to IIA at first because I was going to go to the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. But they, in turn, kind of recommended that I attend the IIA first. So that's where I went. Of course, I also got support from my father, who was a graduate of 1942 in the vocational school. So he was always talking about school here. So I ended up there, did my 2 years, then eventually went to Minneapolis College of Art and Design, graduated there. To me, I always tell other students, those are the best years of my life. Be able to meet a lot of students from all over the United States. That's quite a difference. You're attending public school back then. So it's a lot of memories of that campus. All the people are there, and all the friends I've made, and also all the friends that I've lost who have gone on. So I remember the first time I was there. I got there, and I had to take a bus The closer I got to Santa Fe, the buses got smaller. The roads got smaller, the narrow roads. And I came and showed up in the middle of the night while that festival, 11-day festival was running. And Bob Hartline picked us up, took us to campus. And probably one of the first students there. And I got my room settled and said, well, I'm going to go downstairs and start making friends. Went down I was in the middle school, right? I know there were voices in the kitchenette, so I went in there. There was about, there was Bill Souza was in, Paul, Pete Jones, Marcette. They were there, they're cooking pancakes. So, you want pancakes? Sure. So that was one of my first introduction to the campus.
Well, anyway, I want to say, good to see you again, Adrian. And again, we're adopted brothers. I've been adopted into the Meskwaki tribe in Taymon and enjoy a long friendship. I've always, as a Paula man, I've always said, Paula has brought unity for our people. Now we all have come together as one. And the Art Institute, I have to say, probably is a part of that. As Adrian, I can probably reiterate what Adrian said. Probably some of the best years of my life. So all of you out there in the audience, in the listening world, someday I suggest, if you're pursuing the art field, the Art Institute has many, many different mediums that they offer, and you might want to check it out on their website. But again, we're part of that product. So again, I hope, brother, thank you for coming on. Good to be here. Right.